Hello, everyone. Welcome to a little preview video. Thanks to Activision and Vicarious Visions and all that for giving us a little bit of an access to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 plus 2. This is just the demo version, the warehouse demo that they gave us access to. So the only playable character is like Tony Hawk, and it's just the warehouse level with like no challenges or anything. So it's pretty free skate. You are not going to be hearing any music for this because it's all licensed, which means we don't want to get flagged, so that's gonna all be muted and taken down and all that. So it's what it is.
Yes, I suppose so. I'll be honest, I don't know a thing about pro skateboarding in the real world, and my only exposure to it is through the old Tony Hawk Pro Skater games on the PlayStation 1. Specifically the
Yep, same.
For some reason I just sort of fell off the series after the PlayStation 1. Like I never even got to the point where I played the PS2 games and they were bad because apparently they were. Um,
3 was good. 4 is when you started to have major franchise fatigue, and then Underground really kind of started everything going off.
Well, unfortunately, it's kind of an inherently simple concept, isn't it? There's not that much that you can do with a game based entirely around skateboarding. I think that's why skateboarding tends to be relegated to minigame status nowadays.
Yeah. It's also just one of those. Making a skateboarding game isn't a problem. It's just that Tony Hawk was a massive franchise fatigue problem.
Yeah,
Because for a time there was like one every year, and it's like, okay, you don't need to do this.
you don't need one every year, yeah, I'll say that. But I will say this about this genre of games, and that is that they live and die entirely by their game feel. So, what would you say about the game feel based on this demo?
It's like 95% the same as the first and second games on PlayStation. It's a tad slower and a tad more stiff, I guess, to make sure you can't ramp up too much speed and do like the super crazy shit you used to be able to do on the PlayStation days, but it's all functionally there. It plays as it should be. But like if you played the games a ton on PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2 like we did, you're going to jump into this and not miss a beat.
Hmm. I guess the follow-up question to ask to that would be: is that inherently a good thing? Like,
Considering how bad Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 was, yes.
well, I'm not asking like in comparison to the bad games. I'm asking like, have there been advancements in the way like skating games play that maybe could have benefited this one? Um,
It's hard to say because Tony Hawk's only real competitor was a series called Skate by EA,
oh,
and that's a very different beast because
oh.
that's more trying to be one. It's EA, which had its own problems. The other is just Skate is a much more down to earth skateboard game compared to Tony
It's
Hawk,
it,
where you
it
can do a lot of really crazy shit
it's an
sometimes.
EA Sports game. It's trying to be the sport, just like the
Yeah,
UFC games, really. Where yeah, it's very admirable that they're trying to stick to the game, that they're trying to stick to the reality of the sport. And when you get into it, that can be its own kind of fun, but it's a different kind of fun than the more out there games. S-
yep, and the music's going bye bye, so now I can turn on the actual sound effects. Thanks, editing. Yeah, sorry. If we actually play Rage Against the Machine or Goldfinger Superman, we're gonna get
We
flagged.
leave 3 seconds of dead air in our commentary, and this video gets demonetized to hell and back.
Not even demonetized, probably even just flagged.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's probably why they had to turn the music soundtrack off button because they know people are gonna stream this, but they don't want to get flagged and shit.
Ah yeah.
Warehouse, how we missed ye.
Oh yes. It does look quite good. It still has that weird uncanny valley effect that I've come to associate with the face models in EA sports games, but I guess I expected that. It's better than everything being like 5 or 6 polygons. No Spider-Man though, I bet. Is Spider-Man in here?
Probably. No, this is just the demo.
No, I mean like, is Spider-Man supposed to be in the completed game?
No, we have no idea yet. I would imagine not. If so, it would probably be a PlayStation exclusive character because that's just how Spidey is nowadays.
Ah, I mean, we just got the announcement that Nocturne's remaster managed to get Dante back. DLC, but they have to pay the license somehow.
I guess.
So it would have made my day if Tony Hawk got Spider-Man back.
I mean, it's one of those things where it made sense given the time in which Pro Skater 1 and 2 were released because that was handled by Neversoft, who were also making the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man games.
Ah, yeah. I've never actually played the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man games. I should do that someday.
First game's good. Second one's just kind of weird.
So,
It's more of the same, but it kind of just does it a little bit worse. But anyway, go on.
yeah. So, for the uninitiated, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games are basically just built around completing different score and stunt goals. And that's all. That's it.
Yes.
That's the entire game. It's very fun. It's very arcadey. You go from stage to stage. The stages ramp up in complexity, and the goals get more difficult as you go. And you fall around like a dumbass a lot. That's going to happen. No matter how good you think you are before you started playing, you're not going to get good until you've played quite a while.
Yep.
I would even say that transitioning from one skating game like this to another presents its own challenges because they don't all control quite the same way.
Now, they all have very different feel. The biggest change, gameplay-wise, is that everything you can do in Tony Hawk 2, you can do in the Tony Hawk 1 stages now.
Oh, so it's
Like manuals and things like that.
so it's like if the Crash Twinsanity collection had added the Crash 2 moves to Crash 1, except they actually did that this time.
Kind of, yeah.
That's not bad. More trick variety is always good.
Well, mostly because Tony Hawk 1, going back to that after 2 and 3 feels a little bit basic.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't think I ever actually played Tony Hawk 1. I think the only one I played was 2. I might have played a bit of... Was there a 3 on the PlayStation 1, or am I misremembering?
It might have been on PlayStation 1. I'm not sure. Most people played it on PS2, though. Because Tony Hawk 2 came out in the year 2000. So.
That was the weird era where game developers were making like 2 versions of every game at a minimum. It was bizarre.
It was in the period where the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube had so much more power that you could do a lot of new things with it.
But everyone still had a PlayStation 1, so they were making PS1 versions. It got a little obnoxious with certain licensed games, like Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone had a PS1 version, a PS2 version, a PC version, a Game Boy version, and a Game Boy Advance version, and they were all completely different games.
I mean, there were Game Boy Color versions of Tony Hawk, and yeah.
I can imagine that was a nightmare.
It's mostly just, hey, you know the vert? Just do that forever.
Man, back in the day, we were all so enamored with the idea of portable games as a concept that we were willing to forgive some truly terrible shit.
Yeah.
And that's how Tiger Electronics got their start. Anyway.
Kind of. Yeah, the demo is just Tony Hawk in the warehouse level, nothing too fancy here. I'm surprised they removed all the challenges, although I figure if you're playing the demo of this, you probably know where they all are anyway. The warehouse isn't exactly a big level.
It's interesting that they removed the challenges because that really just leaves nothing to the demo except deciding whether or not the game feels good to you. And that is the most important thing, but I don't really see the point in removing the challenges from the demo. Giving the player a taste of what their goal is would give them a better idea of what the gameplay loop is like, so a bit of a misstep there. But then this isn't a demo that's made for the general public consumption, is it?
I think in a week or two it'll be like a pre-order bonus.
Oh, okay. But it's not the demo that they put up on like the PlayStation Store or something.
I don't even think there is going to be a full demo on the PlayStation Store. It is Activision after all, but we'll see.
Alright. Well, I guess I can forgive that mistake then. It's just an odd choice for the demo. But at the end of the day, the demo's a demo. Who cares? I mean, I do, but I'm a horrible nitpicker. Everyone knows that.
Game comes out in a few weeks anyway, so.
I am interested in picking it up when I have money again, maybe in about 10 years. Oh God, by now, Tony over here has broken that same knee about 26 times since the start of this video. We've bypassed the part where he should never be able to be an athlete of any kind again, and gone straight to the point where he must have Weapon X healing powers.
Yeah, that's one of those things about skateboarding. It's like, they can do some really impressive shit only after falling thousands and thousands of times and breaking so many bones and shit. Yeah, at the very least, the game kind of cuts out the him getting up and grabbing his board again thing.
I like that staticky effect. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have been able to pull that off on the PS1, but it's a nice little... I mean, in games like this, it always looks a bit wonky when you ragdoll all over the place, and that's funny in its own way. But it's funny for the wrong reasons, not the right reasons. When
Yeah.
he wipes out and then goes all staticky on impact, it's a nice, cool effect that makes the act of failure a bit enjoyable, a bit epic in its way. Fits the style, I think. So nice touch.
Yeah, there's a lot of little changes. Obviously, the game just looks a lot better. But I'm excited to play the full thing because I played 2 a whole lot as a kid, and I really just want to just do that again.
I think a lot of us have, really, which makes it
Yeah.
a bit surprising that Tony Hawk just sort of vanished off the video gaming landscape for so long.
It was because the publisher wasn't treating the games very well,
Yeah,
unfortunately. But after Tony Hawk 5 kind of crashed and burned in every way, they must have realized, hey, we kind of need to actually do something
the
again.
story of every PlayStation 1 franchise's life, apparently.
I guess it's weird how my PS4 is becoming the PS1 but better machine. Yeah, that was Tony Hawk 1+2 warehouse demo. Thanks again, Activision, for getting us a little bit of an early access to that, and I'm excited to actually pick up the full thing on September.
Same.